Listen, tonight, and I don't want to lose sight of this. Tonight was about making or having awareness for mental health, and it is a real thing. It is a real thing. We were at a function this morning at Princeton High School, both Ohio State and us and our players, and Anthony Grant's wife Chris got up and spoke about them losing their daughter to suicide, and it was a high school it was a room full of high school kids, and everybody knows how big it is at Princeton. And they gave the mic to me, they gave the mic to Jake, and the kids were just talking. I mean, they could have cared less. When she started talking, you could have heard a pin drop in the place. That's what tonight was about first. Let's not forget that. And so it's great to see 4 programs in this state, the 4 high major programs in the state all come together to be a part and benefit Jay's Light, which is the charity associated with the grants. So that's what it's about first. Second, listen, there's some nice things tonight at times. I'm not going to sit up here and act like there wasn't. There was some good things, and you could see some stuff carry over from practice. That's the positive of it. But guys, it didn't count. And we have all these guys back from last year. We have all these guys that played all these minutes and they did it together. That's going to matter a ton early in the year, right? They're all new. And so that gives us a major advantage in October. It needs to be an advantage for us in February and March, but we can't think we ever did anything in dang October. We better come back to work on Sunday. I mean that. These guys can't think because there's a double-figure win in an exhibition game that we did something. That'd be a major mistake. Because I can tell you right now, there's about 100 dang things I'm pissed about from tonight and stuff we've been talking about and working on in practice that we haven't done. So are there some aspects of it that are good? Yeah, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I think if anything, our guys should get some confidence. They can be a good team tonight, and we have the pieces and depth to be a good team. But we ain't going to be a very good team if we think we've arrived in dang October because, the score was in our favor. And watch, you guys watch. Ohio State will be 3 times better in 2 weeks. We've listen, been here 3 years. We play these closed-door scrimmages. We've lost a bunch of them. And then guess how much better we got the next week. And so they'll have their guys' attention this week. They're a new group. They're going to be really dang good. If I'm right about what my group can be, we should act like we lost too, because we ain't do anything. So that'd be my first thing I'd say is let's not please don't tell these guys how great they are because they had a good exhibition game. We got a long freaking way to go. But I do think that the depth, I was pleased that we played a ton of guys tonight. Shoot, we were subbing so much over there, had my head spinning. We played a ton of guys, but I thought everybody that played showed why they're in our program. And I mean this. I was so proud of C.J. Anthony. He's a dang good little player. He's gotten really good, and he can shoot the heck out of it, and I wish he'd have made one of those. But everybody that checked in the game made an impact tonight, and I'm proud of that. Seeing Rayvon Griffith, actually get out there, it's been a long time coming. And it was great. It was awesome to see that first one go in. I'm sure that's been a long time coming, and then the dunk and all that. So I felt good about that. 21 dang turnovers has me pissed off. We had a turnover on an illegal screen. I can live with that, but some of the carelessness with the ball, that's the kind of thing get your butt beat in the Big 12. So, I could keep going. We give up the free throw box out there at the end of the first half. That play, I'll be mad about that until I see these guys in practice on Sunday. But listen, some good stuff. I do think that we should have some confidence that we can be a good team, but we won't be if we think we've arrived or something. We better get back to work over the next 2 weeks before this thing's real.
Questions for the players?
Dylan, you were the lone new face in that starting group. That first 7-minute stretch when you guys were together, did that feel like, okay, this is what we've spent all spring and summer into the fall working on? It looked pretty crisp.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the main thing with this group is just we have fun together. And I think that's kind of what it's all about. So when we go out there, it's not just, we're trying to execute this or execute that, but we're going to have fun at the end of the day. And I think that's something that, this team really connects on. And I think that, it's a big reason why I came here, with them bringing a lot of guys back and then me just adding to that. So I just think the way we went out, the way we competed, I think that's the biggest thing. Coach can live with mistakes and turnovers, but it's the effort that counts. So I think I know the goal that I have as far as what I want to accomplish with this team, and that's a national championship. That's, getting rings, hanging up banners. And it's good to know that every player down the bench has that same goal. So I think that just motivates the whole team to just stay together.
For both of you, are you pleased with the rebounding? You might not be the biggest, not that you're small, but you both have tremendous wingspans, which makes a huge difference out there.
We'll get back into the gym with the team and work on a lot of rebounding. We could have been to the offensive boards a lot more, I could say. I know Dylan's a really good offensive rebounder. I'm a really good offensive rebounder, and so as well for a lot of our teammates. And I feel like we could have affected the offensive board a lot more.
Yeah, no, I think we got to be a lot better on the rebounding side, both sides, boxing out, crashing more, not letting, fatigue, not let us go crash. So I think both sides of the ball we got to be better at.
Dylan, what was your impression of playing in an offense that was led by Jizzle James and Day Thomas, and just that first time playing with them?
It's fun. They're unselfish. I think that's the biggest thing you got to have with a point guard. They try to get everybody involved. They try to get the whole team involved, get the whole team going. And that's just, a good type of point guard to have. They rather have their guys get going before they get going. So it's just fun to play with. And they're both leaders, and they both can take coaching. Not only from coaches, but from us. As being, they're being our point guard, we can talk to them, and they listen. They help us, and we help them. So I think that's good to have from point guard leaders.
For Dylan and Dan, obviously, it was a busy day, a big importance behind this game. Walk us through, as a student athlete, what this kind of day, this game meant for you guys, and the importance of mental health being young adults in this society.
This game was about mental health, like Coach said. And I think that that's very important. That's something that's not talked about a lot. And it was good, me, Dan, and Day and CJ Frederick had a kind of like a TED Talk last night where it was interviewed, and we kind of just talked about mental health and why it's important, especially for us athletes, to talk about it. There's a lot of kids that look up to us. A lot of people think, it's okay to just hold it in, but in reality, like, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to not be okay. I think that's the saying we had. It's okay to not be okay. So that's just something that we wanted to preach, and that's just what this game was about, just mental health, spreading the awareness. And I think the biggest thing is letting people know that there's always help. There's always resources out there, and that's something that, we kind of want to offer and we want to, approach.
Dylan, you get the block, go down, Dan throws you the lob. Pretty emphatic going into the timeout. Was that your kind of welcome to the Cincinnati fans to Dylan Mitchell's game?
Yeah, no, I think that's just me. It was funny. Dan, he never seen me, I guess, scream or something like that, but I don't know. I get real emotional when we play. Yeah. I didn't think he was going to see me. He was driving to go get a bucket, but he see me last second and threw it up. And I think that just speaks to our team. We run. We want to run. So, we get that block shot, Coach calls the moment of truth. Right when I seen, we had the ball, we're gone. And I think that was a play that kind of showed that.
When did you see him?
I saw him. I drove and I beat my guy's first step, and I was going up and I seen Dylan's guy coming towards me, and I seen Dylan just running from the corner, and I knew Dylan with his athleticism. I just threw it up. I didn't even look where it was at. He's gonna catch it somewhere, come down with it, whatever, and he dunked it with one hand too. It's nice.
Dan, what did you see just from the length on this team and the rebounding and deflections? It seemed like early in the game you guys were getting hands on basically every ball that was in play and then getting out fast the other end. What did you see from the length on the team?
Yeah, we work at it every day in practice, and we have a lot of length on this team, a lot of length. We have great size, and I feel like what we do in practice every day when we work to sprint to the ball when the ball moves and being in the right position, a lot of those tip balls wouldn't be tip balls if we weren't working on when the ball gets moved, we sprint to the ball, we're in deny, we're in help, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like it's our habits that we're learning to do and our preparation for games that gets us all those tip balls.
Dan, a lot of work on the shot this offseason. How did you feel like it was flowing in the first kind of semi-live action?
When I was warming up, my shot felt good. I've been working on my preparation for my shot, being shot ready more. Hey man, sure, first shot I was nervous, get that out there, but it's all right. And then I felt good,
Yeah, you shot the air ball.
It was the air ball, yeah.
That's what he was
It was right there near the rim, but it's all right. And then I ain't think anything of it. I knew that's just me. I knew that was something like that was gonna happen. But next shot felt good, knocked it down, and my shot's been feeling good lately. I've been working on it, so I'm trusting my work.
How does
He's and I mean this, he's got to continue to do the work. He's been doing the work, and his numbers in practice are significantly improved from a year ago, and it was good to see the one that went in, because that's what we're seeing in practice a ton. And he has not shot, I don't think he shot a air ball here in a long, long time. So when that happened, I kind of thought
He's so nervous.
that was.
I was shooting it, and the
But
hands were sweating.
he's been shooting it significantly better. He's going to shoot it well this year if he keeps the work up.
defensive timing with the steals? I think 8 different players had a steal in this game. As Keegan mentioned, the deflections everywhere. Is that kind of just translating right from practice that you guys feel like, where your timing on defense and your ability to get in lanes is kind of transferred over to a live opponent?
I feel like that's something we really like pawn on, like to work on our defense and, like I said earlier, sprint to the ball, loading, communicating, and talking at a high level. We got 12,000 people in here, and also appreciate all the fans, man, for coming out for the exposition game, man. It's amazing how many people that showed up, and we wanted to we want them to keep showing up, so we're gonna keep going to practice and working hard for them so we can keep getting wins that count. But appreciate the fans so much.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. You know, you come out for an exhibition game in October. There's a great crowd in Fifth Third. We're appreciative of that. So thanks to everybody that came out tonight. Thanks, Dan.
Yes, we are.
Was it fun playing with different groups? You had a starting 5, and then you kind of switched it up in the second half. But do you feel like you guys can just throw 5 names in the hat, draw 5 out, and go with as close as you are?
I think like depth has got to be a great strength of our team, and then the positional versatility, I think, gives us the ability to do some different things. The lineup where we got to play small, we were trying to do more of that, and we were looking at substitutions. We spent about 2 hours today trying to figure out how we could get everybody real time. Like, we didn't want to have guys playing 2 minutes. We wanted the guys to get real rotations, which was hard. But we wanted to get a look at some small ball lineup. There's going to be opportunity. There's going to be times that the game calls for that, especially as we get into league play. And we didn't get as much a look at it tonight. We haven't practiced it quite enough yet. But I think we have some guys that are versatile enough to defend multiple positions and switch some things. And then, you know, when you play with 5 perimeter players, you can spread the floor and give the defense a different look too. And we weren't, I wouldn't say we looked organized because we haven't practiced that way, but there was a ton of space when we had 5 guys out there. And then Dylan, I think, you know, got a dunk on he kind of slipped and rolled one. But there's a lot more space when we go small. It'll be something we continue to tinker with throughout the preseason. And I think there'll be segments in games this year we're going to have to utilize it.
Anything else for the players? All right, you guys are dismissed.
Thanks,
fellas.
Appreciate you.
Guys.
Good job, guys. It's like with these guys, you want to stay hard on them, and they just make you laugh because they're such good dudes. Dan said his stomach hurt before we were walking in here, and he said, it hurts more the more I don't play. That's what he said. There's something else.
Minute distribution. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be, you know, this even as you go through, but I mean, do you feel like, you know, if the top guys play 25 minutes, it looked like guys understood, I'm going to be out there for, you know, this however long, and I can go as hard as I can possibly go, and then somebody can get me and I can rest up and get back out there.
We were very honest with the guys that if you look into anything we were doing from a substitution standpoint, you're wasting time because we weren't going to coach the game. We told that to you guys, but I mean, that wasn't coach speak or something. Like, we did line subs twice tonight. I think we did 5, and then we line sub to start the first half. We did 5 and line sub to start the second half. I don't think that's how we're going to play. You know, and so I think we, in a good way, we got some very difficult decisions to make as a coach. That's a good problem because there's not a guy on our roster that can't impact a game, and that's a positive. But no, we'll get to some more traditional rotations and minutes as we get into real games in November. Tonight was not about that at all, and I made it very clear to the guys. And like C.J. Frederick, for example, I pulled him aside at halftime. I just said, hey, I know when the lights come on what C.J. Frederick can do, but but I really want to see what Tyler Betsy can do and what Rayvon Griffith can do, and I want C.J. Anthony. You know, like he's from Columbus, Ohio. I wanted him to play against Ohio State, not just at the very end when it mattered, and so like, that's why I didn't play C.J. in the second half. Like he'll play a lot more against Pittsburgh. Am I allowed to say that? Secret scrimmage.
You can say whatever.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fine.
whatever our scrimmage is next week, you know, he'll get a lot more time. But I say all that because don't read into anything from a substitution or minute distribution, other than that we do have depth, and that needs to be a strength, and we have a lot of guys that are capable of impacting a college game.
Coach Dealer complimented you guys on multiple things, playing with pace, aggressive rebounding, but the thing that he stuck on was it looked like you guys had experience playing together. He's trying to develop that for his guys.
Yeah.
So beyond like all the intangibles, length, rebounding, shooting, do you think that's an underrated thing that people aren't noticing, just how important it is, the chemistry that you guys might have this season?
Yeah, I don't mean to draw comparisons to this in terms of how good teams are or not good. That wouldn't be fair. But like 2 years ago, we scrimmaged Purdue. And this is when we had Landers and David. John was still healthy at that point, Newman. And we thought we had a chance to be a really good team, especially before John's injury. Thought we could be really dang good. And but we were new together. You know, like a lot of those guys hadn't really played together like that yet. And Purdue was returning everybody. And they kicked our butts in a closed-door scrimmage. I mean, a lot worse than the score tonight. And then they kicked our butts. And you know what? It was awesome for us. And 2 weeks later, when we opened the season, we were fine. I mean, the John Newman thing hurt a lot at that point if we really want to get into the details. But we were so much better. We were just going through that process of learning how to play, and that got their attention, and we got a lot better. That's going to be the same thing that happens for Jake's bunch. I mean, and I don't mean to – we're not as good as dang Purdue. Well, they're so good. But just when you have continuity, right, we have continuity. Like I said, that really shows in a night like tonight after 2.5 weeks of practice. Like that's a massive advantage where he's got a new group. They'll use this, and they got another couple weeks before they play, and they will be twice the team because he's going to be he's a really good coach. They got a great staff. Joel Justice on their staff I've known since we were kids. I think the world of him. He's a star in coaching. They got a great staff. They're going to be really good. They probably needed tonight to get those guys' attention and start learning how to play together. And watch how good their practices will be this week. Okay, I say all that because Ohio State's going to be great, and that'll go to show you when you watch them play here in a couple months how much this dang scrimmages matter. These things don't matter; they're just tools to develop your team. I'll say it again. My biggest concern when you look at the score tonight is that our guys better approach it like we lost by 30. You know, that'll be my goal on Sunday. And I hope they make good decisions between now and Sunday when we practice, because I will not be. They'll think I'm the devil on Sunday, because honestly that's fool's gold, and that continuity we have matters a lot in October. It's not going to matter in a month if we don't make it matter with our work. And so I wouldn't read too much into this in a good way for Cincinnati or in a bad way for Ohio State. I've done this long enough to know this kind of, if we'd have lost by 30 tonight, guys, I'd be frustrated from a competitive standpoint, but I wouldn't be concerned about my team. I mean that. I go, this is the damn best thing that happened to us because I will have their attention. I hope we still have their attention on Sunday, and if we don't, it'd be a bad day for them.
Is there a statute of limitations on super secret scrimmages?
I don't know. Oh no, yes. Then I'm in some real trouble. I'm in some hot water. But boy, we scrimmaged Purdue. They beat us so bad, and they were at the end of the year they were a lot better than us too. I'm gonna let's be honest, but we got so much better over the next 2 weeks because of that. And Ohio State's going to be a really good team, and Jake's doing a heck of a job. And they got talent. They just all knew. I think Bruce Thornton is like the only real returning player. I think he's really good. So they're going to be real. They're going to be really, really good. And this thing will come and go, and nobody will remember it in 2 days.
I think Ray, Betsy, and Paige all made their first shots. What's it mean for them and the team? I mean, obviously everyone gets a charge out of what Ray does.
Well, I think, like I said, it was just so good to see Ray out there in a real game, and I've said this a couple times now. In summer practice and fall practice, he's been probably our most competitive, edgy guy in terms of rebounding and trying to do the little stuff. So it was really good to see the ball going for him early tonight. But I was pleased with that. And then, guys, Tyler Betsy's going to be a really good player, and I think you can, if you know what you're looking at, you can see it. Every time he shoots the ball, I think it's going in. I mean, when I was recruiting the first time I watched him and he shot it, if he misses, I'm surprised. I think he's that good of a shooter, and he's been working his tail off. He's come so far defensively over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and guys, he ain't even close to where he's going to be. So it was good to see him have some good and bad moments tonight, some stuff he can learn from. But hopefully he got some confidence getting out there for the first time. Who else did you ask about?
H had a little baby.
And AP, I said this in the radio earlier, it's going to be so important for us to bring him along quickly. He's going to have a really key role in this team. Everybody can see the talent. He's just still a young player, and he's working his butt off. He's a joy to coach. He's got a terrific attitude, but we got to get him there. By January, we need him to be where he's capable of being, and he's capable of being a big-time player. And he made some really nice plays tonight, and there's going to be some stuff we're going to watch the tape and be able to learn from, too.
Anything else?
Obviously, you look down at Day Thomas's stats, 11.6 assists there. What did you think of his performance? 5 of 8 shooting as well.
I'll tell you what, I don't like the 7 turnovers between Jizzle and Day. I don't like that. But those two have been pretty good. I mean, they really have. These, Dan and Dylan were saying it up here in their own way. I mean, they're making others better. And I think, like, Jizzle had a read in a ball screen in the second half where he kind of checked down on the way they tagged AZ on the lob and fanned it cross court for a wide open 3 for Josh. I mean, these guys are really improved players. They've worked really hard. And so the 6 assists between the two of them. Am I right about that? No, I'm sorry, 10. The 10 assists between the two of them. That doesn't surprise me at all. And I think we can get that all year. Now, the 7 turnovers, we got to work at that. And that again, that's part of early season play. But they've both been pretty good. I thought Day in the second half, I've been really challenging him defensively. I think he can make his mark there. I thought he had a possession where Bruce Thornton kind of kept him on his hip, and they called a foul. And I thought after I got on him pretty good, and I thought after that he was really good on D. Jizzle James, everybody, I mean, my mom, and everybody, they're all over me about not playing him enough last year early. Because, I mean, he's fun, right? I love watching him. But defensively, he was not there. He has gotten so much better defensively. I mean, it's going to be fun to go watch that tape. And he's still got some work to do, but, guys, Jizzle James is really, really improved. And so the combination of those guys and Connor, just guys that can handle and make plays in the backcourt, that should be good for us. And if they keep working, I think they're going to have big years.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.